Adobe Creative Suite had a 98% gross margin software business selling perpetual licenses. In 2011, Narayan decided to destroy that revenue stream by moving to subscription pricing. The first 2 years looked like a disaster. Revenue dropped, Wall Street analysts downgraded the stock, customers publicly revolted. By 2020, Adobe was worth more than 10 times more than it had been. The question for operators isn't whether the transition worked, it's how Narayan made it survivable. And that's what we're going to audit today. Hello, my name is Todd Hagopian, the original Stagnation Assassin, the author of The Unfair Advantage, Weaponizing the Hypomanic Toolbox. But today, we're going to pull the leadership file on Shantanu Narayen, CEO of Adobe, and specifically the subscription transition that is now the canonical case study for legacy software companies facing the shift from perpetual license to recurring revenue. This is not a tribute, this is a forensic audit. Let's see what he actually did. The leadership stagnation score of Adobe pre transition was 5 out of 10 on the corporate cancer scale. The disease was piracy. Piracy enabled revenue leakage and a business model mismatch with where the market was going. Perpetual licenses create upgrade cycles, which means revenue is lumpy. Customer engagement is episodic, and the competitive window for disruption opens every 18 to 24 months when customers are deciding whether to upgrade. Subscription eliminates the upgrade decision entirely and creates daily engagement. The stagnation wasn't visible in the financials. Adobe was profitable. It was visible in the structural trajectory. So let's do the forensic audit. What did Narayan get right? The sequencing decision. Narayan did not flip all customers simultaneously. He built Creative Cloud alongside Creative Suite, giving customers a parallel track to experience the subscription model before it became mandatory. This is the 70% rule applied to a business model transition. You don't need customers to be perfectly ready. You need them to have enough experience with the new model that the forced transition doesn't end up feeling like a surprise. The pricing architecture, the initial Creative Cloud subscription, was set at a price point that made it mathematically irrational to stick with perpetual licenses for active professional users. Full Creative Suite was over $2,000 upfront. Creative Cloud was $49 per month. For someone who upgraded every 18 months, the math was immediate. For someone pirating, which a significant portion of the user base was doing, the subscription model finally gave them a legitimate, affordable path in. Converting pirates to subscribers is one of the most operationally underrated growth levers in the entire software industry. The customer communication discipline. Narayan and his team were transparent about the direction years before it was mandatory. Customers had time to plan, budget, adapt, and when the full transition finally came, the shock was minimized because the change had been telegraphed extensively. But let's do the murder board. What did Narayan get wrong here? The Figma acquisition attempt, valued at $20 billion before regulators blocked it, revealed a very strategic blind spot in Narayan's innovation architecture. Figma had built a collaborative browser narrative design tool that was genuinely threatening Creative Cloud's dominance in a specific customer segment. The response was to try to acquire rather than compete, which is almost always a signal that internal innovation has been deprioritized. When regulators blocked the deal in 2023, Adobe was left with about $1 billion termination fee and an unresolved competitive threat. The fatal flaw: subscription revenue success can produce the same complacency that perpetual license success produced before it. The Creative Cloud moat is real, but Figma proved it's not impenetrable. Adobe needed to be building its next gen competitive response internally, not betting $20 billion on the elimination of the threat. So the stagnation verdict here, 4 kills. Shantanu Narayen executed one of the most technically difficult business model transitions in software history, and he produced extraordinary shareholder value in the process. The transition, the sequencing, the pricing architecture, and the customer communication are genuinely replicable frameworks. The Figma situation cost him the 5th kill, not because the acquisition failed, but because needing the acquisition revealed an innovation gap that he should have been closing internally for years. Study Narayen for business model transition management. Then make sure your success is not making you so comfortable that you miss something major. That's your forensic audit on Shantanu, Narayen, and Adobe. Grab the unfair advantage, weaponizing the hypomanic toolbox on Amazon. Go to toddhagopian.com and stagnationassassins.com. I'm Todd Hagopian. The most dangerous moment for any business model is the moment that it starts working, because that's when you stop building the next one. Now remember to go declare war on stagnation inside of your organization.